This now is the beginning of the 8-step, 8-minute Mind Qi routine. As you can see, it is very simply built in 4 sections. The clue is in the start. That's where you begin. We look at taking care of a breath and our brain. Then we go past the last 24 hours, now dealing with this very moment, and then into the future. So you see there's a chronological order that makes sense. So let's begin knowing that you are supported with lots of extra materials. First of all, if you would put your one hand high on your chest and the other one on your six-pack. And if you would take just a couple of breaths and note which hand is moving more. And again, if you'd like to participate, and thanks for all of those responses earlier, just let me know it's the high hand or the low hand that is moving most. Why is this important? A breath is immediately the way you can control the natural stress and strain reaction. So we have a particular breath. It's called the square belly breath. And what you do is you breathe in for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, out for 3 seconds, and stay empty for 3 seconds. And if you do this 5 times, at the 3-second time, you will have a minute. The power of this is amazing. I know it is just a breath, but if the next time you're feeling that spike of stress, just even say just a minute and do 1 or 2 rounds of that breath, you immediately are giving 20% of every intake of your breath's oxygen to your brain so it can function the way you want it to do so. With step 1, we've taken control of our body and its automatic response. With step 2, we observe what's happening inside our minds. And this is an observation. Step 2, on this minute, what you do is you just think of 1 and you repeat 1 in your head. And you may be sitting there thinking, that's fairly easy. And what might happen is you're kind of beginning and you're going 1, 1, 1, 1. This is easy. As soon as you think another thought, you go up a number. So now it's 2, 2, 2. What are we having for supper? Oh, 3, 3. And it's just to observe what number do you get to by the end of your minute. Now, if you are going to have to do something that requires a lot of concentration, then I suggest that you look to get your number down 1 to 5, for example, 1 to 4. So go and do something that you know calms you, or do mundane stuff that you know has to be done, so you can bring your thoughts and regain control of your brain. So you see, just in the first part of Mind Qi, the first 2 steps, we've controlled our body and our brain and our responses. Now we go back and we look at the past. And you may think initially this is a bit strange, but as you do this repeatedly, you will find the power of this is enormous. In this next minute, step 3, the 3rd minute, you imagine a video running back for the past 24 hours. And you think of, where might I have done, thought, said something that I would have been more proud of than what I actually did. And this is not for you to berate yourself. It is for you to say, okay, next time, what would I rather do? It is to pull the lessons, because normally these things happen with those closest to us, the ones we would least want to hurt. And so if we can put in mechanisms to build that relationship rather than to dismantle it a little bit, it builds and builds and builds. So you look for those, count them on your negative hand, and at the end of the minute, you say, thank you very much, and let them go, because the past is past. So it's important then to wrap it up and move on. That's counterbalanced by step 4, which is to go past those same 24 hours, But now you look for those things that you are proud of. And, you know, the thing about it is, I'm not saying to be braggadocious, but just to think, oh, I worked really hard on that form. I did my best on that report. I was pleased with myself for doing this. And oh, parents out there, please do this one with your children, because I find so many of them don't have a feeling of their success, and their feeling of success and yours is tied with your feeling of self-confidence. So it is so important that you begin to build the success bank. If you are feeling a little low, maybe write them on pretty colored paper, put them in a lovely glass jar. And when the universe gives you a bit of a knock, you can look at that jar and think, yes, look at all those successes. I can manage this as well. So that's the next two steps of looking at the past. And now, a crucial one, and that is how we manage now. Now, this one is based on cognitive behavioral therapy and many of our other good proven psychological processes. It's the down and dirty. And what we use is the acronym BEAT. And so if you touch your thumb to your first finger, it's to do like a quick scan of your body, like a little x-ray scan. And just even as you're there, do you have any tension in your shoulders, in the back of your neck? Is your jaw tight? Is your tummy happy? Just check your body. And then you go to E, emotions. And I have this imagination of a long corridor, and down one side are all the negative emotions, and on the other side are all the positive emotions. So if you find, for example, that you have gone into the grumpy room or the frustrated room, then stop and say, is this the room that I need to be in to be able to be best at what I'm doing? Then you go on to A, which is action. And this one is really, are you only using the amount of energy you need to do what you're doing? So for example, somebody sending an email when they're happy, somebody sending an email when they're not. That's a waste of energy. So you're just checking, am I using appropriate energy? And T, thoughts. This is that little chi character. It's that voice inside your head, that little one that talks to us the whole time. And research shows that most of our internal chatter is negative. That's constantly pulling us down. And so what I say is you need to say thank you to that negative for sharing, because it may have given us a point of something we need to be aware of. And now what you want to do is to listen to that little voice that says, come on, do it again, one more time. You can do this. I've got great faith in you. And in fact, I often liken this to having these two little chi characters sitting on your shoulder. And this one is doing the negative and say this one is doing the positive. And I see people I've shared this with in business meetings kind of quietly going like this and saying, thank you, goodbye. I need to listen to this one. So that's how you do this check of how you are now, which leads to the power of choosing, is that how you want to be? So immediately, and you can pull this one out and do it just like this as you're walking to a meeting that you're anxious about or getting ready for a phone call. You can just go, right, I'm a little tense, I'm going to wiggle, I'm going to get up, I'm going to move. Emotions, if I'm in that scared, unhappy, frightened, whichever the room might be, what is the room that would be the best being room for me to be in for what I have to do? Is it to be flexible? Is it to be attentive? Is it to be caring? What do I need to be? And then actions, just check. Are you using only the energy you need? And T, thoughts, are you listening to the voice that is supporting you and cheering you? So you can see, you can check your beat. Obviously, these four intermingle. And so we're putting them together and pulling them apart just so we can be sure we've looked at all of them. So that's your beat, and that's giving you immediate control over now. And that's an incredible power that you can feel you have, which leads us to go on to the fourth and final quarter, which is going into the future. And the first part for this is where we go now forward 24 hours. And we think, okay, so I know some of the things that I have to do. What is maybe I haven't thought about is, what is my best being, as we spoke about a few minutes ago, for what I have to do? And so you plan ahead to have the right emotional state around you, with you, and go back to it if you fall off that perch, to be able to help you go through what you have to do in the day. What they say, just as a little reminder, is that we are human beings, not human doings. So consider your being state as something that is a really crucial thing to help you be your most effective, whatever you have to do. And the final one, and I love this final minute, it's a minute of gratitude for all we have or will have to be grateful for. There is a growing body of research that says that thinking about things to be grateful for is extremely good for you. It just builds up your resilience. It builds up your optimism. It builds up your hopefulness and your powerfulness, and hopefully removes the numbness. Being grateful also gives you the attitude of gratitude. So as you go through the day, you might happen to just more consciously aware of when somebody does a little nice something for you, a little bird alighting somewhere, a smile or a gesture, and you just gather those thinking, when it comes to my minute, I can particularly think about that and put it into my minute of gratitude. So all of these things build up, give you this entire 8-step, all done in just 1 minute, just 8 minutes, 1 minute for each step, which can make a radical positive difference for your life. And if possible, make this a routine, make this a habit. So pick a time of day, if it's possible, first thing in the morning, maybe as at your lunchtime, it's only 8 minutes, with a cup of tea in the morning or the afternoon, when you finish and begin your evening, or just as you're falling asleep, to do this on a regular basis. And I think you will see that there is a growing difference, especially if you can do this for the full 28 days, having recorded at the beginning where you are now, and then 28 days later, doing those questionnaires again and seeing where you are at that point. Because everybody has to try and see if it actually works for you. And so just for today, maybe today being the first day that you give it a go, you can choose to be in control of you. It starts with being aware, and then it is having now particularly the breath, which gives you an immediate control over your automatic response, saying, I am in control of me. And this will all get knocked in life, and it is appropriate to dip down when you are knocked. But what is important is to know that you can come back, fight, and that you have the coping mechanisms to be able to keep going, to come back again. It's called bounceability. And so regardless of what's happening around us, you will have the gift of resilience and bounceability to be able to carry you through with joy in your days. So I've covered an awful lot of material in a very short time, which is why David is writing in the link, the link for you to be able to get additional information. If you would like more of this for your organization or for your group, please contact us at thechangemakergroup.com or me, Vanda, at thechangemakergroup.com,